Hello and welcome to the Tough Cover Podcast with your host, Mark Henry Jr. And you can follow me, as always, at Mark Henry Jr. _ like you see in the display right there. And please follow the Painted Lines at the Painted Lines. And please subscribe to them on YouTube. So let's move on from that. On today's show, folks, it is a football Sunday with some scattered basketball in the forecast. Yesterday was one of the biggest cards I've ever given out on the Tough Cover Podcast. And while we didn't have a perfect day, we missed some of our big plays. We hit our two biggest plays, and we had a plus 10.5 unit day, mostly thanks to the Cincinnati Bengals and the San Francisco 49ers. Had big plays on their spreads, had their money lines parlayed together, but it's a new day. Yes, it is. And we are at plus 12 units in January. So without further ado, let's get ready to gamble. And starting at 12 o'clock, I am going to the Big East. Got to clear my throat after that one. I am no Michael Buffer. But at 12 o'clock, I got Providence minus 8.5 versus Butler for 3 units. This is a fade Butler pick. And if you've been paying attention to Butler, you know why. They've been a catastrophe this season. Butler is 1-9 against the spread as an underdog and 5-12 overall against the spread. Their last 6 losses to UConn, Villanova, Xavier, Seton Hall, and Purdue, all pretty good teams, are by an average of 22.5 points per game. All of those teams are tournament teams, but besides Nova and Purdue, I think Providence is the best of the bunch. Providence is a perfect 11-0 at home. In the last 10 games, Providence is 9-1 with a plus 5.5 point differential, while Butler is 4-6 with a minus 10 point differential. Butler has not kept it in single digits with any of those 6 teams that I mentioned. Butler's only got 1 guy in double figures, while Providence has 4. I don't think Butler will be able to keep this in single digits because they haven't been able to do it in recent memory here. So I don't think they can score quite enough to hang with this Providence team. Ed Cooley is a great coach. Providence gets it done here. I think they do it easily. I think this line should be up around 13 or 14. So give me Providence minus 8.5 versus Butler for 3 units. And then moving on to 3:30, we are skipping the Rams-Bucks game. I'm not, bad news. I'm sorry. I don't have a play on it. I'm not going to give you plays that I'm not confident in, and I can't find one in this game that I like. There's times this week where I felt like betting against the Bucks is stupid. And then there's times this week where I feel like right now, if I had to tell you my lean, it would be the Rams, but I just can't, I can't get my money. I can't get my thumb to click the bet button there. I have no confidence. I think it's a fair line, and I really can't find the value in it. So I'm going to stick with my Rams Super Bowl future at plus 800 from the preseason. I'm just going to root for the Rams today. No bet on the game. So we're going to move past that to 3:30 in college basketball. I like Michigan plus 4 at Indiana. This is a small play for 1 unit. This is just an example of betting spots, not teams here. Indiana's the better team, in my opinion. They're the more well-coached team, and they have the best player on either side in Tracy Jackson Davis. But Michigan's finally rolling after a blowout over Maryland. I think that they string a nice little stretch here together coming up. And Indiana is coming in hot after their biggest win of the year over rival Purdue and Bloomington. I think it feels like a big-time letdown spot is inevitable here for Indiana with a rookie head coach. And Mike Woodson's coached plenty of places, but this is the first time he's coached in Indiana. I think we're seeing a letdown here. I think Michigan keeps it close, and I think that they cover the 4 points against Indiana for 1 unit. So that's a 3:30 play. And then let's get to the big game, the game of the day here at 6:30. The jersey I'm wearing here, Pat Mahomes at 6:30. I'll start with the over. Big Cat's game of the year. Shout out to Big Cat. I got it at 53.5 though. Over 53.5, 5.5 units to win, 5 units. Doesn't this seem like the definition of a game to sit back, relax, and take the over and root for points? Such dynamic offenses, such great quarterbacks, such great play callers with Brian Daboll and Eric Bieniemy, both, basically putting on auditions this weekend, trying to get hired as head coaches. You have Stephon Diggs for Buffalo. You have Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill for Kansas City. You've got the emergence of a great running game in Buffalo. You've got the emergence of Jerick Jet McKinnon in Kansas City. Give me the over all day long, and the trends back it up. The overs are 4-2 in the last 6 Bills games. And the Bills have scored no lower than 27 in that stretch. And this Chiefs offense is rolling in a way we haven't seen in quite a long time, averaging 36.5 points per game in the last 6 games. As you guys know, if you've been following the Tough Cover podcast, the Chiefs team total over has been a consistent bet for me, and it's been a cash cow for me lately. And it was my best bet of last weekend's wild card weekend. But I'm just going to bet the full game over here because full game overs are 6-0 in the last 6 Chiefs games. And those Chiefs offensive trends I just gave you are why I have Chiefs -1 for 4 units. I've never bet against Patrick Mahomes in his career, dating back to Lubbock and Texas Tech, and I'm not about to start now. And even with how Buffalo's offense is rolling, KC's has been even better. I just think KC has slightly more firepower offensively with Kelce and Hill, and I think people are valuing last week's incredible performance for Buffalo and the earlier matchup from this season a bit too much. And I think there's a lot of value to be had on the Chiefs here with this line being around -1. I think it should probably be up above a field goal. When Mahomes is a 3-point favorite or shorter or an underdog, he is 14-4-1 against the spread and 9-2 in his last 11 straight up. And then here's my favorite stat. Here's the stat that really makes me feel good about backing the Chiefs here, and basically a pick 'em on a -1 spread. Patrick Mahomes is 57-15 in his career, 7-2 in the postseason. So overall, he's 57-15. If you bet against Patrick Mahomes to win a football game, you're wrong 80% of the time. I'm not going to bet that I'm right and I'm going to find out what that 20% is. I'm going to ride the Chiefs because 80% is a high number. And I think people are seeming to forget that the Chiefs have been to 2 straight Super Bowls and 3 straight AFC championship games. If D4 didn't jump off sides, they would be the back-to-back-to-back AFC champions. Well, there was an adage coined by a man named Ric Flair. To be the man, woo! You've got to beat the man. And Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, and the Kansas City Chiefs are still the man in the AFC as far as I'm concerned. And as far as Buffalo is concerned, they spent their whole offseason gearing up for this game. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that'll pay off. Maybe Buffalo has had this game circled on their calendar all offseason as the team they have to beat, the team they have to measure up to. I get it. But last year when these teams met up in the AFC title game, I think it was already the same thing. The Chiefs had won the Super Bowl the years before. The Bills knew this was their measuring stick. The Bills got up early, but the Chiefs won 38-24. I think it'll be a little closer, but very similar and just as high scoring. I think this could be like a 35-30 game. I think this is going to be a fun, high-scoring shootout. But surprisingly, you just heard the confidence in my voice. I love that over. I love the Chiefs. But those bets are not my best bet of the night. My last bet, and certainly not least, my best bet of the night is at 7:30, and it's in the National Basketball Association. And I'm going with the Memphis Grizzlies +4 at the Dallas Mavericks, 7.5 units to win 7 units. This is my favorite NBA bet I've ever seen in terms of just like a straight up spread total. This is the highest unit NBA play of my life. This is the largest NBA wager I've ever made. I made a slightly smaller 6.5 unit to win 7 unit play on the Suns that won in last year's playoffs, but this is the most you'll see me put on a regular season NBA game. I think the Grizzlies should be a 2+ point favorite tonight. I think the Grizzlies are due some respect. I think John Morant is due some respect, but hey, Vegas, I don't mind. Continue disrespecting Memphis. I'll continue making money. Memphis is 16-8 against the spread as an underdog and 16-7 against the spread on the road. They've played 48 games and they've been the underdog in 24 of them. So that's 50% of them. That is unacceptable and absurd for a 32-16 team with a top 3 record in the sport. Memphis is 6-1 against the spread and straight up in their last 7 as an underdog. Memphis is 13-2 in their last 15 against the spread and 18-5 against the spread in their last 23 games. And I love Memphis. Those trends I just gave you are a big reason of why I like this bet. So I love backing Memphis here, but I'm not even afraid to fade Dallas. Dallas is only 10-13 against the spread at home and come in 0-3 in their last 3 against the spread. They need such superhuman performances from Luka to win games against good teams. Dallas has been a good defense, but these are not your father's grit and grind Grizz anymore. Memphis is averaging 115.5 points per game in their last 12 games. The Memphis offense is no joke. I truly don't think Dallas can keep up unless Luka drops 40+ with a near triple-double. So give me the Grizz, and I'll keep riding with Ja, the fastest rising superstar in the NBA. So let me give you guys a little recap before we get out of here. At 12 o'clock, I've got Providence minus 8.5 versus Butler for 3 units. At 3:30, I've got Michigan +4 at Indiana for 1 unit. At 6:30, I've got the over 53.5 and Bills Chiefs 5.5 units to win 5 units. I've got Chiefs -1 for 4 units, and I've got my best bet at 7:30. I've got the Memphis Grizzlies +4 at the Dallas Mavericks, 7.5 units to win 7 units. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being a part of the Tough Cover Click, and enjoy the winners.